Hey y'all, it's Ali from Little Hill Homestead. The airplane show is over, our company has gone home, and it is time to finish this makeup series. I apologize for it was kind of a mess. Like I was so excited to do this series, and then just life kind of showed up. And then it was like I was forcing myself to do videos, and I thought, instead of forcing it and having them be just not great, I'd rather do it when I feel like doing it. And so you guys got a couple other little things in the middle, but now it's back to finishing this up. So today's video, okay. I've been wearing all these products now for a couple weeks, everything that we have made so far in all the videos. And there's a couple, one in particular that so far has been a flop. I'll tell you which one that one was when we do the final makeup at the end of all this. But I will tell you, I have a definite winner by far of everything we've made. So it's been exciting to see kind of what. But one thing I'm lacking so far is I don't have any kind of like face powder. You can do like a powder foundation. I don't have a liquid foundation. I don't have anything like that yet. And so I thought, better get started on that, girlfriend. So today I'm going to be working on a powder foundation. You can also use it as a basic face powder. I am going to show you how to do that as well. If you want more like of a not so tinted, you can wear it over foundation type of a powder, like a setting powder, I guess is more so what it's called. So the first one we've got, let me grab a bowl before I forget that I'm going to do both for you. Let me get my life together. There we go. So step one, arrowroot. You can use cornstarch. If you have a corn allergy, don't use corn on your face. It's probably not advised. If you have cornstarch, don't have a corn allergy, use that. It's totally fine. I'm going to be making a batch of this and then putting it into a container I already have. It's best to do one that has like the little shaky top thing like that. I only have one of these left and I didn't want to buy more. So I have a container in the other room. I can't remember the name of the powder that's been around forever and ever and ever. And it has a really highly fragranced scent to it. It's like literally from the 50s. I have a container of that. I don't use, so I'm going to dump it and put this in that. Anyways, that was way too much information. We're going to start with 2 tablespoons of your arrowroot. Cornstarch is fine too. So this recipe I got from somebody else. I've kind of adapted it slightly, but not really. I got it from Freebie Finding Mom. We used another recipe of hers at some time as well, but she's the original writer of this recipe. And it's got a lot of the base stuff that I was going to be using in like whatever version I came up with. So I thought we're just going to use hers. Way easier. So the next thing we need, you have 2 options here. You can use bentonite clay or kaolin. Kaolin is definitely going to be more white, ghostly in the end. Kaolin is going to add some color. So it really depends on what you kind of want to go with. I'm going to use bentonite. Either one of these is going to be great because it's going to dry the oil in your skin. It's going to keep it in place. So we need 2 teaspoons of that. If your kaolin is like really green, I mean, if your bentonite is really green, I would use the kaolin and try to adapt it from there. So I'm just using the end of a toothpick, chopstick, to mix that in lightly. Okay, so this already has color. So if you are very pale, you could literally just go with this. And you would just use like what are those brushes called? Kabuki? Is it a kabuki brush? I don't know. I have it in the other room. The little short handled one. And you would just put this over like your moisturizer or, and use it. Oh my gosh, where is she going? Y'all, what is she talking about? Use it over your lotion or whatever you put on your face if you just want a really light hint of color. So that's the color we have ended up with there. If you need to darken it up, you've got a couple options. One is cocoa powder, which we use in our bronzer, and it is amazing, you guys. Like the bronzer it's staying put. I'm liking that recipe. You can also use cinnamon. Actually, be careful with cinnamon because it can burn some people's skins, but it's going to add a little bit of redness into your color, not onto your skin. And then some people, if you have like a yellowy undertone, I tend to add a little ginger to yours. So those are the colors, and you kind of just fiddle with it until you get a color that looks the closest to your skin. So I'm going to take a little bit of cocoa powder. I'm going to do like a half of a teaspoon, you guys, because I don't want it to go too dark. Because once you do, you have to add more kaolin or something to lighten it up. So I'd rather kind of just go in a little at a time until I get the color I want. Go a little bit more. That's not quite enough. Now this is a higher concentration, higher amount, larger quantity. There you go. It's a larger quantity of our base color. So it's going to take a little more to kind of oomph it up each time. See, to me, it's going a little reddish, maybe. Really, y'all? Nobody needs to know. I know I've told you guys about my crazy dogs a billion times. And I don't even have Amazon coming today, so I don't know what they're talking about. So it's a little light still to me. Remington? And it's going, yeah, it's pretty white still. So I'm going to do another little bit of our cocoa. And then I'm going to go in with just a little bit of our cinnamon. Maybe like a half of a teaspoon. And then I'll mess with ginger when we get to that point. But, you know, you don't want it to look like you have a bronzer on your face. But if you have a color that you use all the time and you're like, dude, that's the closest to my natural skin tone, pull that out and put it next to it until you go, oh, there you go. Okay, I think that's a pretty good color. How simple was that? Okay, so I've been using all the natural stuff, and so far I have had no breakouts from it. I've had no reactions to any of it. Like, my skin is quite happy with where we went with it. And so just using my finger to make sure we're good. There we go. That just darkened it up a little bit more. You're going to be putting this over other makeup, most likely. Like, I use a liquid and then I kind of finish with this. But do you see, like, it's right here. It's going to look a little frosty right now. But overall, like, it doesn't look chalky. Like, the first time we put it on, it looked chalky, right? This definitely darkened it up a little bit more. So I'm going to do a touch more cinnamon to mine, and then I'm going to call it. If you are a summer person that tans, or you need to darken it up, just because your complexion is not light like mine, not a big deal. Just keep adding until you get to that point. If you have a very dark complexion, they do sell, let me see if I can reach it. Yeah. Ugh. They sell a cocoa powder that's literally called black cocoa powder. And so if you have really darker skin than I do, and you're like, this is just not going to work for me, if you were to mix this in with your base clays, it would definitely get you to a darker shade and make you not look so chalky. So that's a good option. We got that. Unfortunately, we got that at an Amish store, so I don't know. I'm sure that they have them all over the place, but it's what they make Oreos out of. Anyways, that is going to be our kind of like a mineral powder, almost like, I'm trying to think of the brand that I use. Yeah, it's nice, guys. Can you see it? I basically coated my whole hand. It's a little bit, it went into my pores, but that's fine. So that's what that's going to look like. So we're going to go ahead and put that into the container that I have in the other room. The next one I want to show you guys is a basic, like, this has got color to it. If you want something that's going to go over your foundation, almost like more like a setting powder, that's what we're going to do now. So same things, except instead of adding bentonite, we are going to use the kaolin in this version. So let me get the kaolin out. Depending on how much quantity you want to make, let me get a different spoon. I'm going to use my 2 teaspoons. 2 teaspoons of kaolin clay is going to go into our bowl. To that, you're going to do 2 teaspoons of arrowroot. I'm going to see if I can dump this because I don't want to touch something we eat out of this container. So it's about 2 teaspoons right there. Okay. If you want it really, really white, chalky, you're set. If you like just a translucent, we'll call it, powder, that's it. You're done and you're set. If you like to add a touch, I like to add just a little bit so it doesn't look so chalky when you put it on. But let's see. There's our translucent. It's just going to go right onto your skin. I like to add just a touch of color so that it has a hint and it doesn't look just chalky. So I'm going to add a half of a teaspoon of cocoa powder to this. Not enough to really like change the color when you put it on your skin for it to be like, oh, she has color on her face. Just enough for me to not look ghostly. A lot of people, like when you buy makeups, like setting ones, they have like the number on the back. A lot of them are very pink. And so I didn't want to go that route, but I didn't want to look frosted. You know what I mean? Let me show you one more trick. So see how light it is? It's just enough that when you put it on, you're gonna not look quite as light as that one. It's just a touch darker. The other thing, and I think a couple of you may have purchased this because you asked me about it. This is that Slice of the Moon mica that we used in our highlighter. If you want, so I have a lot of scars. I had acne very, 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 very badly when I was a kid. So I have a lot of scars. It is what it is. I'm not going to fix it. If things that are matte sometimes show more of my acne scars. And so if I add the tiniest little bit of this, it changes the light. It reflects different on my skin. And so it almost looks more flawless, if you know what I mean. So those companies that sell you like the flawless version. But I'm talking like, otherwise you're going to look like a highlighter. I mean, that's like what, a tiny little bit. And we're just going to do one more like that. So maybe 1/8 of a teaspoon, not even that, you guys. And then I'm going to go with my finger to mix it in because it's needing more than that chopstick's going to give me. And all that's going to do is help, basically the light is going to bounce off of it a little bit differently and give you a more flawless look in the end. And I don't know if you'll be able to tell on my skin that it's got it, but there's our third one. So we are going to have a white cast using these ones, but you're going to use them over a foundation, and you really use them like, I mean, I put my brush in it, I tap it off and put it on my skin, and it helps absorb the oil all day. So those are the two colors we ended up with. This is more like a mineral foundation type situation. And this one is going to be more like as I dump it on the floor, more like a setting powder that you'd put over a liquid foundation. So those are our two recipes for today. I know I've told you guys this 17 times. At the end of all of our recipes, I'm going to tell you guys the goods, the bads, what I would change, and we're going to do a side-by-side. I think I'm going to do a side-by-side. I can't decide if I'm going to do, you guys tell me what you want to see. I can do it with zero makeup on one side and show you the natural on the other, or I can show you commercial products on one side, big Maybelline and Revlon and whatever I've got in my drawer in there, and then do my natural ones on the other side to kind of do like a side-by-side wear. But let me know what you guys want to see. Anyways, that's our recipe for the day. So if you, for the day, a recipe, is it really a recipe if it's makeup? I don't know. Anyways, that's our two little cosmetic things for the day. Make sure you check back with us. We're going to be doing, I'm trying the foundation, you guys, and so far it's very difficult to make foundation that matches your skin. There's a reason it's $50 a bottle. And then we're going to be doing some cream tints for your cheeks and lips. And we are going to be doing some loose eyeshadows. We did the packed eyeshadows for you guys. What I'm finding with those is I really, really like them, but I need more mica in them to get a really intense look. So if you want something like, I used them today. If you want something much lighter and like softer looking, they're really, really great. If you want, like, I like to get in there and just have like very defined lines sometimes. It's harder to get that with the packed ones. So I'm going to do some loose ones to see if we can get a little more intensity. Anyways, those are other videos though. So keep checking back with us and let me know if I'm missing anything that you guys want us to try to make for you. There's limitations on what you can do with natural products, but let me know. Anyways, be checking back though, because we got stuff for you. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it.